Shalom, shalom, boys here. Well, I've gotten a lot of flack from folks that say, why is it that you listen to Kevin Samuels? Why is it that you are listening to a man that has two failed marriages, has a child, from what I understand, a daughter, and is not married and has not shown any proof that he can successfully be in a marriage long term? And that's a great question. That's a legitimate question. And I respect and understand what people are coming from or where people are coming from, because, see, in this day and age, you have people that talk the talk, but that do not walk the walk. And we are having a serious, we're having a serious problem today where people are claiming that they can do something and they can't do it at all. We have a serious problem where people have no fruit in their life at all, and they can't prove to anybody that they are capable of offering any kind of valid advice, wisdom, counsel that manifests anything positive. And it pretty is. It's a damn sad situation. And so I'm going to attempt to address why is it that, number one, men like media tutorial review, because, see, I've noticed in the Black Monosphere, O'Shea Duke Jackson, Alpha Male Strategies, all of these cats, they're not married. None of them are married. And they're highly successful. But getting back on the notion of why Kevin Samuels, why should people listen to Kevin Samuels? And this is as simple as this. No one is speaking up for black men and has been able to strike a chord in a way in which Kevin Samuels has been able to strike a chord with the average black man, or a so-called black man, an African-American man, or men worldwide across the street. Because, see, this feminist issue, this feminist problem that we're having, it's affecting the social order of society. It's affecting the ability for the average man to grow and have a family. And what we're seeing clearly, when people voluntarily, women voluntarily, call in to Kevin Samuels' live show that he does, whether Instagram or YouTube, you clearly see the blatant disrespect that these women have for men, period, across the board, but especially with African American women. You see the total disconnect when it comes to a woman's ability to be, like he said, fit, feminine, and friendly. Okay? To have an aura of femininity that attracts and attains a black man today. You see an unprecedented amount of women that are homewreckers, that are literally homewreckers, that don't know how to be wives because they were not taught how to be wives. And the interesting thing that Kevin Samuels brings up is he brings up, the notion that when a woman comes to a marriage, she's supposed to be a wife already. And the sad reality of the situation where a lot of men have been told to don't talk about it, don't address it, shut up about it, don't. And see, now this podcast has exploded, and now people are not going to shut up, and all of these pansy ass, passive ass men that we've had in the past have not done their job. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in today. Because we don't have enough real men out there that's going to cry out loud and spare not and warn the generation that we're living in, the situation that we need to do or what we need to be, nor have these men showed through the fruit of their own loins that they can do or produce anything. They haven't shown it at all. It's a damn shame. And so you have this situation where you have these women calling up and exposing the total breakdown of what it means to be a woman. So when he's talking about what the scripture's talking about is that when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing, okay? The problem today is that we're finding women that we have to take under our stead. And although we have to be a man and we have to be able to be providers, we have to be protectors, we have to be motivators, we have to be leaders, they can come into the marriage, can't cook, can't clean, can't take care of a house, don't know how to behave, don't know how to be friendly or fit or feminine, lazy as shit, and we got to make these women into wives. This is a fact. This is the challenge. This is the reality of the situation. You hear it time and time and time again. Because the sad reality is that a broken woman cannot raise a young girl to be a woman and be a wife no more than a broken man can raise a young man to be a productive member of society and be a husband. And see, you always have the exceptions to the rule. And, I look at myself and I say, I was raised in foster care, but I was fortunate enough to have real men, alpha men, high value men come into my life and say, you know what, I see something special in you. I'm going to develop you. I'm going to teach you something. And I'm the culmination of those teachings and that wisdom and that counsel that those elder men that I've had in my life has brought me to this point where I can say that, at 44, I've never been to jail. I have a real skill. I am self-sufficient. I know how to grow my own food. I know how to hunt. I know how to build. I know how to project manage. I know how to hunt, raise my own cattle, fish. And there's not a lot of men that can say what I just now said. Own land, debt-free, proficient in marksmanship. A lot of men can't say that, you see? And so when you're dealing with the average guy like myself who's saying, listen here, we're in a situation where no one is crying out loud or speaking loud. No, I'm not going to say not no one, because there are pastors and elders that are out there and other men that are out there in the black manosphere that are crying out loud and saying that this is what's going on and this is how we need to be moving. And not all of them are married men, you see? But it doesn't negate the fact of what they're saying is true. What they're experiencing and what we're experiencing out here is an actual and factual truth. It's one thing if we can sit here and we can say that we're not going through what he's talking about, but it proves through the 160,000 subscribers that Old Show Juke Jackson has, a Meteor Talk of views, 200,000 subscribers, or 1.1 million subscribers that you have with Kevin Samuels in growing. So you have these situations where we're experiencing exactly what he's talking about, exactly what these men are talking about. And it's resonating. And not only is it resonating, but men are acting on this information because we're experiencing it. Some people, I talk to other brothers. We're going through the same shit that he's talking about. So of course it's going to resonate. And nobody else seems to have any solutions or any solutions that's coming forward that's bringing forth any kind of real fruit. You see? So people are going to listen to men like Kevin Samuels, where he's bringing the fire, And he's holding people accountable because, see, in this day and age, nobody wants to be held accountable for anything. See, when things are going good, or when things turn out great, everybody wants to praise. Everybody wants to show it. But hey, shit hit the fan. Not me. Mom's the word. So this is why people are listening to Kevin Samuels, because the situation is totally out of control. And is he providing solutions? Yes, he's providing solutions in terms of not only how men need to be dealing with women today and not wasting your time and seeing what the signs are. You got to be a husband day one. But then you get a repair job. Then what happens to your vision? See, what happens to your vision? Because now you got to take the time, energy, and effort to repair something that a father didn't do and a mother did not raise her daughter to be. And that's why he's saying in the situations in the last video, I'm going to do a video about it, he said, avoid these people at all costs because it's nothing but drama. It's nothing but a headache. It's nothing but a non-accountability. You got damaged women out there that ain't marriage material and that should not be in any kind of marriage whatsoever. This is the reality of the situation. So why is it that this man is warning everybody and everybody else is silent? Especially when you look at the results. You see? So Kevin Samuels and others like him are single because they themselves see the bullshit. Like, these are successful, high-value men. Meaning from the sense that they're making over six figures. He said if you're a man, stable man, debt-free and everything, and you got a skill and you're making $60,000, you're gold. You're silver. You're platinum. $80,000, $90,000. You're platinum. If you're making over $100,000, you're a diamond. He was using these levels to understand. You know what I'm saying? If you're at these levels or whatever, brother, you can gold at $60,000. And I know brothers that are, by his own set, diamond, $100,000 plus, going through a whole bunch of bullshit at home. Taking care of their responsibilities and got to deal with a whole bunch of bullshit at home. Who want to deal with that? Who want to deal with that? So this is why you don't see men like Kevin Samuels, or if you do see him married, because there's nothing in the scripture that say that you have to necessarily be married, but the idea is that, listen, these men ain't going to put they shit on the line it's either they going to get somebody that's marriage, that is that can be married and be a wife from day one, not a repair job. See, men with a vision, and this is why, it's interesting to see how these things, because, I went to a barbershop, a successful brother out here. And he has a barbershop in 3 of the major areas out here in Western Kentucky. And he was talking about the notion that, standards and expectations. See, women get with Pookies and Ray Rays, right? Because he's not going to require anything of them. It's amazing. I require something of my shies or my wife because due to the simple fact that I'm becoming better and better, and I'm growing in skill set, I'm growing in knowledge and grace and understanding. I'm becoming a better individual, and so therefore I require her to become a better individual and increase her skill set. But when you have a lazy ass woman, she don't want to. She just, hey man, a loser ass man is not going to put any kind of expectations on that woman because he's a loser himself. You got brothers out here today ain't got no job, no ambition, no skill set or whatever, and talking about getting 1, 2, 3, 4 wives. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It is absurd. And I was talking to another elder. He was like, the reason why they're so successful is because they don't require anything of her. Because she can't require anything of him. And all it is a whole bunch of smooth talking. That's all it is. That's all it is. But you don't see nobody building no businesses. You don't see anybody creating any kind of generational wealth. All I see is a whole bunch of people living in squalor and poverty. It's a damn shame. It is a shame. So, men like Kevin Samuels, he's not going to put himself in a situation where he has to deal with a repair job. Who got time to repair a woman? And it's interesting, dealing with, let me find that scripture. Because he's talking about as well. Okay, I'm going to go into Matthew 12, 43 through 45. Because, see, he hits on the concept of deliverance, or he's talking about therapy. But in the faith, we understand and we talk about deliverance, see? Because, see, if a woman has not had the therapy and the challenges, she's going to bring those challenges, and who's going to want to deal with that? A man like Kevin Samuels is not going to deal with any drama. He got a vision. He got a business to run. If she ain't on his plan, and he was talking about this the last video. If he ain't on his plan, why he going to get married? And there's so few qualified women that's qualified to even be a wife. See, what you're going to get, what men are getting today, and I'm not talking about the Pookies and Ray Rays. I'm talking about the brothers that got real skills, real ambition, getting things done. Ain't potheads. You got a whole bunch of potheads out here today. I mean, it's a shame. Chain smoking. I mean, it's a damn shame. But we're talking about the brothers that are actually out there getting it done. I'm not talking about the street niggas and the Pookies and the Ray Rays. What does Matthew say? When an unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places and seeketh rest and findeth none. Then he said, I return into my house from which I came, and when it is come, he findeth it swept and clean and garnished. See, this is talking about the same concept that he's talking about, but deliverance, meaning that these people are demonically topped off from all types of men and women, dealing with childhood traumas, molestation, and let's call it. Let's forget this concept of molestation. It's rape. These women have been sexually abused by men. Seeing traumatized from not having a father, not having a stable mother, not having this is the reality of the situation. Then he goes and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be unto this wicked generation. So you're dealing with a situation spiritually where you've performed deliverance on a woman or a man, and then these people have not had a heart change, and then they're more demonically topped off and challenged than before. Who gonna deal with that? Who in the hell is gonna deal with that? That's some stressful shit. And I'm a man that understands and knows how to perform deliverance. I've been taught by taught ones. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. So to listen to Kevin Samuels and to understand from what he's talking about in terms of, a wife is a wife. It's either you got a woman that's going to obey you, or you got a concubine or a living whore or whatever or something like that, but you ain't got no wife. And it's sad to see these situations continue to develop because there's no accountability. Nobody wants to say anything. Nobody wants to put it out. Everybody's mum on it. And look at this is where it's gotten us. And so now you got a powder cake. And people are going to listen to Kevin Samuels, and people are going to listen to people like them and going to implement what they're saying. Because people are tired. People ain't got time. See, if you got a Pookie or Ray Ray that ain't doing nothing but sitting out all day, ain't got no motherfucking job, right? Living off the system or living off the backs of others and fronting like they doing something, I'm not talking about them losers. I'm talking about the brothers that's getting it done. The brothers that's getting out there and putting their hand to the plow. That's who he's referring to. That's who he's talking about. He's representing men like me. So we are going to listen. And they are going to continue to listen and implement. I know how to take the meat and throw away the bones. But just to answer your question, this is why people are listening to Kevin Samuels and why himself, listen here, he ain't going to link up with some, they got too much to lose. Black man, that you out there actually getting shit done, you got too much to lose. Your seed is too valuable to be putting it in a piece of trash. Because now, you could potentially be in a situation where you got a lifelong headache on your head. I thank y'all that, you know what I'm saying, you know, I live set apart and I do everything set apart. But to answer y'all questions, this is why people are listening to Kevin Samuels. This is why they're going to continue to listen to Kevin Samuels. And although he's a single man right now, he knows exactly what the hell he's talking about. It'd be great to see, you know what I'm saying, men that are successfully alpha men, that are successfully married and ain't no beta chumps where their wives are secretly running the marriage. Get up there and school the brothers, but we ain't got a lot of that going on today. So this is why they're going to continue to listen. It's a sad state, but it was called. It was foretold of in this book right here. We're just seeing it all come to pass. Yeah. Some folk, y'all better pay it all your mind because, hey man, we're in worse now. And we go from worse to oblivion. If we don't apply wise teachings of men that understand what's going on and going to lead you to a better way. Hey, could be a pastor or elder or teacher, but you better make sure they know what the hell they talking about because, hey, the blind lead the blind and they both fall in the ditch. And everybody everybody that got gray hair on their face ain't wise. Trust me, I know.